2016 at the Rancher booth. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. It's an amazing conference. It's been absolutely packed. I'd say it's double the size of last year, if not bigger.
And can you tell us a little bit about the company?
Yeah, Rancher is a software platform that people use to run containers in their organization. It's an open source platform that allows people to take resources from any cloud, deploy orchestration frameworks like Mesos, Kubernetes, Swarm on top of them, and use that to then deploy applications, authorize teams to access those different clusters, make sure they connect to enterprise policies and enforce the rules for how people can deploy and manage containered environments. And because it's an open source project, it's used by thousands and thousands of companies of all sizes around the world.
And so how does it fit into the Docker ecosystem?
Yeah, we work really closely with a lot of these companies here, including Docker, obviously. So Rancher allows teams to spin up Docker environments using Docker Swarm. It allows companies to deploy all sorts of the ecosystem, like monitoring tools like Datadog and Sysdig, and storage services from companies like NetApp and EMC that support Docker environments. We work really closely with Docker to support the latest version of all of their technology in Rancher, and that means that our users are able to get the best experience running Docker environments. At the same time, another department might be using Kubernetes or Mesos to schedule their workloads.
Great. And can we get a demo of the product?
Yeah, sure. Come on over.
So what are you going to show us?
So I'm going to show you how to set up Rancher, and once you've deployed Rancher, how to launch an environment and start deploying applications in it.
Great.
So Rancher is an open source project, as I mentioned. To set it up, you really get started by just launching the Rancher management server. To launch a management server, it's a container. You just do a Docker run of the Rancher server. And once you launch that, you can launch it on any host that supports Docker. I've got one running right now in Google Cloud. So you can see here is a Google IP, and I'm running the Rancher management server. And this is the Rancher server. I've got a number of environments that we've deployed here. And to deploy an environment, you basically go in and create an environment, choose an orchestration layer, and then start adding some capacity. So for this demo, for DockerCon, we'll do Swarm, and we'll call this our VM blog Swarm Lab. So to create an environment, you'll authorize users to say who you want to have access to this. So I'm going to have my admins, give them read-only access, and we'll create this new Swarm cluster. Now initially when we create this, it's just a space. So we've got our VM blog here. We need to add some capacity to it. So you click Add Host, and that allows you to come in and choose where you want to get infrastructure for this new cluster you're building from. You can just use any host you already have, a laptop, bare metal infrastructure in your data center, an existing VM somewhere, and run the Rancher agent on it, and that will start deploying all of the orchestration, set up the networking and any storage that you need for that cluster. Or you can go into different cloud providers like Amazon and Azure who have machine drivers using Docker Machine. So for this, I'll just spin up a couple nodes in DigitalOcean, and we'll call these VM blog host 1, 2, and 3. I've got a credential I copied a minute ago, and we're going to put these in, let's put them in San Francisco, nice and close. So we'll create this, and basically we're reaching out to the cloud provider, spinning up the hosts, and we're going to set up and manage this Swarm implementation. And as this comes up, you'll start to see these hosts get created in the cloud. I'm not going to wait for these to come up because it'll take about 5-6 minutes, but once you've deployed an environment, you can add capacity from really anywhere. An environment doesn't have to be just one set of resources. You can see here I have a bunch of DigitalOcean nodes in this lab, but I've also got Google nodes. And so you can mix and match services. All of these hosts I can drill down into and look at their performance. I can see what kind of capacity they have available, what version of Docker they're running, what stats they're pushing out on this host, and the individual services here that are running in the container. I can actually come down to look at the logs for a service. If I'm here, you can see I'm looking at a Redis service and pulling that. I can also go in and connect to any of these services and actually SSH into the box. So here I'm going to just shell into this container, see what's running on the host to do troubleshooting. So you have, as a user, you have full admin visibility into the hosts, to the containers. You can monitor what's going on. You can also launch applications and from your catalog or from any CI platform. So in this environment, I'm going to launch an Elasticsearch cluster here for the demo, and you can see you can support different versions of the template. This is based on Docker Compose, so you can see I've got a Docker Compose file here that's describing the environment. I've got Elasticsearch masters, a data volume, some data nodes. So we're going to set this up. We'll call this Elasticsearch VM blog, and we'll launch this service. And this is going to launch across a number of nodes here in the cluster. So you can see it's starting to spin up these services. It'll launch the masters, the data nodes, the clients, and the Elasticsearch UI. The catalog is an open source catalog that's based on GitHub. So you can access public catalogs like the one I'm using here, or you can access a private catalog or catalogs from your vendors. Each catalog is full of application templates that are connected to one another using Blueprint. So if I'm using a Kubernetes environment, I'd have a set of replication controllers and service controllers assigned as a catalog. Here in Docker, I'm using Docker Compose. Once the service is up and running, I can drill into any of these things. I can check and launch, get out, access this new Elasticsearch cluster we just spun up. I can also come in and upgrade it. So when a new version is available from the cluster, I can come in, choose to move to Docker 1.7 or Elasticsearch 1.73, and see that it's going to change these containers, move them to focus on this new Elasticsearch release. So I'm going to do that, and it'll go through a rolling upgrade, for example, on this cluster. You can take advantage of all of the cool orchestration that you get from different schedulers in an open source platform that anyone can set up and download and use in about 5 minutes. So it's a really powerful way to get access to the whole Docker community, have a great UI, API, and CLI interface for managing it, and really understand what's happening inside of this Docker ecosystem that's been developing over the last couple of years.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with VM Blog.
Absolutely. Great to see you guys again.